Consider the following statements regarding agency banks of RBI. RBI Act 1934 allows it to appoint agency banks. Public sector and private sector banks both can act as agency banks. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stump on and share and like this video. Answer is option C. आरबीआई अधिनियम 1934 की धारा 20 के संदर्भ में आरबीआई का दायित्व है कि वो कार्य करे केंद्र सरकार की प्राप्तियां और भुगतान और विनिमय करने के लिए सार्वजनिक ऋण के प्रबंधन सहित प्रेषण और अन्य बैंकिंग संचालन केंद्र सरकार के। इसके अलावा उक्त अधिनियम की धारा 21 के अनुसार आरबीआई का अधिकार है भारत में संघ के सरकारी कारोबार का लेन देन करें। दर्ज किए गए समझौते के अनुसार आरबीआई द्वारा राज्य सरकार के लेन देन किए जाते हैं। आरबीआई अधिनियम की धारा 21A के संदर्भ में राज्य सरकारों के साथ अभी तक ऐसे सरकार को छोड़कर आरबीआई और सभी राज्य सरकारों के बीच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग में लीड टू एन इंक्रीज इन द ओवरऑल प्राइसेस। सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट आंसर यूजिंग द कोड गिवन बिलो। आंसर इज C, I, E, and IV. Only I. Increase in effective demand. E. Decrease in the aggregate level of output. IV. An increase in overall employment. If aggregate demand increases by 10% and aggregate supply increases by only 8%, then it leads to an effective increase in demand of 2%, which results in inflation. When aggregate, overall output decreases, then even if we assume demand as constant, then it will lead to an increase in effective demand, which results in higher inflation. Higher employment increases demand in the economy and may result in higher inflation.
प्राथमिकता प्राप्त क्षेत्र उधार में शामिल हैं निम्नलिखित में से कौन सी श्रेणी? अनुसूचित वाणिज्यिक बैंकों को अपने कुल ऋण का एक हिस्सा 40% देना अनिवार्य है प्राथमिकता वाले क्षेत्रों के लिए। प्राथमिकता क्षेत्र के दिशा निर्देश किसी भी अधिमान्य दर को निर्धारित नहीं करते हैं। प्राथमिकता प्राप्त क्षेत्र ऋणों के लिए ब्याज आमतौर पर ये उन क्षेत्रों के लिए छोटे मूल्य के ऋण होते हैं। समाज अर्थव्यवस्था जो आबादी के बड़े हिस्से और कमजोर वर्गों को प्रभावित करती है, और उन क्षेत्रों के लिए जो कृषि और लघु जैसे रोजगार सघन हैं। उद्यम आरबीआई द्वारा निम्नलिखित को प्राथमिकता वाले क्षेत्रों के रूप में घोषित किया गया है। प्राथमिकता प्राप्त क्षेत्र उधार में शामिल हैं निम्नलिखित में से कौन सी?
I. Renewable energy. E. Export credit. E. Social infrastructure. IV. Education. 100. NABARD provides refinance to which of the following types of financial institutions? I. Commercial banks. E. Regional rural banks. E. State cooperative banks and land development banks. IV. Non-banking financial companies. Select the correct answer using the code given below.
नाबार्ड व्यक्तियों को सीधे ऋण नहीं देता है, लेकिन यह वाणिज्यिक बैंकों को ऋण देता है। क्षेत्रीय ग्रामीण बैंक आरआरबी, राज्य सहकारी बैंक और भूमि विकास बैंक और गैर बैंकिंग वित्तीय कंपनियों एनबीएफसी को आगे उधार देने पुनर्वित्त के लिए। कृषि और ग्रामीण क्षेत्र।
Electoral bonds can be purchased for any value in multiples of 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 10 lakh rupees, and 1 crore rupees from any of the specified branches of the State Bank of India. The purchaser will be allowed to buy electoral bonds only on due fulfillment of all the extant KYC norms and by making payment from a bank account. A citizen of India or a body incorporated in India will be eligible to purchase the electoral bond, which will be an interest-free instrument. The bonds will have a life of 15 days, during which they can be used to make donations to registered political parties, which they can encash through a designated bank account, that have secured not less than 1% of the votes polled in the last election to the local assembly. At present, the donor, the quantum and the source of funds is not known. Now, with electoral bonds, the balance sheet of the donor will reflect the purchase of these bonds. The donor will know which party he is depositing money to. The political party will file return with the Election Commission as to how much money has come through it.
Consider the following statements regarding the Goods and Services Tax Network, GSTN. I. It is a non-government, private limited company. E. It is a not-for-profit company. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Goods and Services Tax Network, GSTN, is a Section 8, under New Companies Act. Companies are governed under Section 8, Non-Government Company. But Cabinet has approved a decision to make it a wholly owned government company. It was incorporated on March 28, 2013. The company has been set up primarily to provide IT infrastructure and services to the central and state governments, taxpayers and other stakeholders for implementation of the Goods and Services Tax, GST. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. Inflation in the economy generally leads to which of the following? I. Depreciation of currency. E. Appreciation of currency. E. Increase in real interest rate. IV. Increase in nominal interest rate. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Answer is C. I. And IV. Only if there is inflation in the economy, it leads to loss in the value of currency, i.e. currency depreciates. Nominal interest rate, deposit rate, equals inflation plus real interest rate. When inflation increases, banks increase the nominal interest rate and generally real interest rate remains same.
लिखित कथनों पर विचार करें। कैश रिजर्व रेशियो (CRR) के संबंध में आरबीआई अधिनियम 1934 की धारा 42(1) के अनुसार रिजर्व बैंक देश में मौद्रिक स्थिरता हासिल करने की जरूरत है। अनुसूचित के लिए सीआरआर निर्धारित करता है वाणिज्यिक बैंक एससीबी बिना किसी फ्लो या सीलिंग दर के। सीआरआर का अन्य उद्देश्य है तरलता का प्रबंधन करने के लिए अर्थव्यवस्था में तरलता को कम करने के लिए सीआरआर बढ़ा सकता है और यह ये भी सुनिश्चित करता है कि बैंक की जमा राशि का एक हिस्सा सेंट्रल बैंक के पास है और इसलिए सुरक्षित है। एक जमाकर्ता के रूप में सीआरआर और एसएलआर आवश्यकताएं एक साथ सुनिश्चित करती हैं कि कुछ हिस्सा भारतीय बैंकों में जमा राशि सुरक्षित रहती है, भले ही बैंक खराब ऋण निर्णय लेते हैं। में सीआरआर और एसएलआर आवश्यकताओं की अनुपस्थिति में अधिक लाभ कमाने के लिए बैंक अधिकतर उधार दे सकता है जमा और अगर निकासी के लिए अचानक हड़बड़ी होती है तो बैंक इसे पूरा करने के लिए संघर्ष करेंगे जमाकर्ताओं को पुनर्भुगतान। एसएलआर की अधिकतम सीमा 40% है। प्लीज सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एग्जाम स्टबबॉर्न लाइक।
Consider the following statements regarding liquidity crisis in the debt market. Sad phase. I. It may be caused due to defaults in the debt market. E. It may be caused due to FPIs running out of Indian markets. E. It may result in hardening of interest rates. IV. RBI may do more to resolve the liquidity crisis. Select the correct answer using the code given below. When there is a default in the debt market, everyone wants to sell the debt paper and hold cash, which results in shortage of liquidity and increase hardening of interest rates. Liquidity crisis may also be caused if foreign portfolio investors are running out and selling their bond holdings in the Indian bond markets. To resolve the liquidity crisis, RBI may buy government bonds, i.e. open market operations, and pump liquidity in the economy.
Which of the following statements are correct? Select the correct answer using the code given below. I. Progressiveness in personal income tax can be increased by having more tax slabs. E. Redistribution of income can help in stimulating the economy by increasing consumption. Progressive tax means for higher income tax rate is high. Now in personal income tax, PIT, we have different slabs. 30% to 5 lakhs income slab the tax rate is 5% etc. For income of above 10 lakh rupees the rate is 30%, which means who earn 15 lakh rupees, he also pays 30% and those who earn 30 lakhs, they also pay 30%. But if we create another slab that income above 20 lakh rupees the rate will be 35%, then it will be more progressive. Redistribution of income means taking money from the rich and giving it to poor. When money is with rich people it may not increase their consumption much because they are already consuming everything, but when it reaches to the poor, they will be able to consume more with the same money, which increases the demand of goods and services in the economy.
से कौन सा उपकरण आरबीआई मौद्रिक नीति के लिए उपयोग आए? फॉरेक्स स्वैप, ई चलनिधि समायोजन सुविधा, एलएएफ, ई बाजार स्थिरीकरण योजना, एव बंध्याकरण का प्रयोग कर सही उत्तर चुनिए। नीचे दिया गया कोड। हाल ही में आरबीआई ने अर्थव्यवस्था में तरलता बढ़ाने के लिए टूल फॉरेक्स स्वैप का उपयोग किया, जिसके तहत आरबीआई ने बैंकों से डॉलर लिया और उसने बैंकों को भारतीय मुद्रा का भुगतान किया और ये लेन देन 3 साल बाद उलट दिया जाएगा। बाजार स्थिरीकरण योजना और नसबंदी समान है और इनका उपयोग तरलता का प्रबंधन करने के लिए किया जाता है। विदेशी पूंजी प्रवाह का मामला चलनिधि समायोजन सुविधा एलएएफ के तहत आरबीआई ओवरनाइट के साथ साथ लॉन्ग टर्म रेपो भी करता है संचालन।
निम्नलिखित कथनों पर विचार करें। राष्ट्रीय आवास बैंक के संबंध में एनएचबी, राष्ट्रीय आवास बैंक एनएचबी की स्थापना 1988 में राष्ट्रीय आवास बैंक अधिनियम के तहत की गई थी। 1987 ये हाउसिंग फाइनेंस कंपनियों एचएफसी को बढ़ावा देने के लिए एक प्रमुख एजेंसी के रूप में काम करती है, स्थानीय और क्षेत्रीय दोनों स्तरों पर, और ऐसे लोगों को वित्तीय और अन्य सहायता प्रदान करना संस्थानों। एनएचबी आरबीआई द्वारा विनियमित है। इससे पहले एनएचबी आधारित एचएफसी की गतिविधियों को विनियमित करता था एनएचबी अधिनियम 1987 के तहत प्राप्त विनियामक और पर्यवेक्षी प्राधिकरण पर। लेकिन अब आरबीआई क्या ये व्यक्तिगत स्तर पर प्रत्यक्ष ऋण का विस्तार नहीं करता है, लेकिन अप्रत्यक्ष वित्तीय विस्तार करता है पुनर्वित्त के माध्यम से सहायता, यानी एनएचबी उन संस्थानों को वित्त प्रदान करता है जो वित्त प्रदान करते हैं व्यक्तिगत उधारकर्ताओं, बिल्डरों आदि के लिए।
Which of the following constitute capital account in BOP? I. Global Depository Receipts, GDRs. E. International Trade Credit. E. Government securities purchased by foreign investors. IV. Securities purchased by foreign portfolio investors. C. Those transactions come under capital account, BOP, which creates future obligations, liabilities or change in assets, liabilities. For example, loans, shares, deposits etc. Global Depository Receipts, GDRs, are basically shares issued abroad by a domestic company. International Trade Credit means credit, loan given for trade purpose abroad. Securities are basically financial assets, so it will always be included in capital account. So, all are part of capital account of BOP. Foreign direct investment, FDI, in India can happen by which of the following ways? C. Foreign direct investment, FDI, happens in 3 ways. A foreign company purchasing shares of Indian company, a foreign company in collaboration with an Indian company establishing a new company called joint venture company in India, a foreign company establishing a subsidiary or a child company in India. It is only in equity, shares, ownership. It is through primary market. Generally new shares are issued and the new capital, money, comes to the company through which the company invests in new factory, machines etc. The foreign investors purchase large shareholding and appoints board of directors and get involved in the decision making, active management, of
welfare of the people of a country is best represented by which of the following parameter? A. Per capita net national income at constant prices. B. Per capita net national income at current prices. C. Per capita GDP at constant prices. D. Per capita GDP at current prices. Answer is A. The question talks about people of a country, which is basically residents of the country, and the income coming to residents is represented by national income rather than GDP. As it talks about welfare, so it should be better calculated as per capita national income rather than just national income. And since increase in price can increase the national income without increasing the welfare of the people, so welfare can best be represented by per capita national income at constant market prices rather than current market prices. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video.
Securitization refers to which of the following? Securitization is the process of pooling and repackaging of financial assets, like debt papers generally, into marketable securities that can be sold to investors. For example, an NBFC has given loan to different companies. Now these different loan papers are an asset for NBFC. Suppose all the loan papers is of 100 crore rupees. Now, 1 lakh shares have been created out of this asset worth 100 rupees each, and these shares can be sold to different people. NBFCs will get immediate liquidity, money, and the share price will vary depending on whether the loan is being serviced, repaid properly or not. If the companies to whom NBFC gave loan are not returning the principal or interest, the price of security, share will fall. Banks, NBFCs can sell these loan papers directly, direct assignment, with certain restrictions, or they can also create security, securitization.
Which of the following statements are true regarding Marginal Standing Facility, MSF, Marginal Standing Facility, MSF? Select the correct answer using the code given below. It is a facility under which scheduled commercial banks can borrow additional amount of overnight money from the Reserve Bank by dipping into their statutory liquidity ratio, SLR, portfolio up to a limit, 2% of SLR, at a penal rate of interest which is above rate. MSF rate equals repo rate plus 0.25%. This means that if a bank is keeping the minimum SLR requirement of 18.25% and it wants money, cash from RBI, then the bank can offer say 2% of the SLR reserve, securities, to RBI and can get money, cash from RBI. This provides a safety valve against unanticipated liquidity shocks to the banking system. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stub Bond, like, share this video.
Consider the following statements regarding the centrally sponsored schemes, CSCs. I. Central government gives grant to states to implement these schemes. E. For central government, most of the expenditure on CSCs is revenue expenditure. E. Central government transfers the amount to either state consolidated fund or directly to state implementing agencies. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Ans. B. Central government gives grant to states to implement centrally sponsored schemes, CSCs. And for central government, almost all the expenditure is revenue expenditure. Centrally sponsored schemes, CSSs, are special purpose grants, or loans, extended by the central government to states to encourage and motivate state governments to plan and implement programs that help attain national goals and objectives.
One of the following statements correctly describes the meaning of legal tender money. A. The money which is tendered in courts of law to defray the fee of legal cases. B. The money which a creditor is under compulsion to accept in settlement of his claims. C. The bank money in the form of checks, drafts, bills of exchange, etc. D. The metallic money in circulation in a country. Please subscribe my channel. Born answer, B. As per the RBI Act 1934, Section 26, rupee notes and coins are legal tenders. It means that notes and coins cannot be refused by any person of the country for payment, discharge of debt. For example, is an auto valet obliged to accept your currency note for a ride? Not necessarily. If you are yet to get into the auto valet can turn you down despite it being a legal tender. But once you make the trip, and you have incurred a debt, he cannot refuse to take your currency note.
Which of the following statements are true regarding alternative mechanism? As per the new policy, 2019, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, DIPAM, under the Ministry of Finance has been made the nodal department for the strategic disinvestment. DIPAM and NITI Aayog will now jointly identify PSUs for strategic disinvestment, and then it is approved by CCEA. Government has created an alternative mechanism, which is an interministerial body to fasten the process of strategic disinvestment. It will decide the following: the quantum of shares to be transacted, mode of sale and final pricing of the transaction, or lay down the principles, guidelines for such pricing, and the selection of strategic partner, buyer, terms and conditions of sale, and to decide on the proposals of core group of secretaries on disinvestment, CGD, with regard the timing, price, the terms and conditions of sale, and any other related issue to the transaction. This will facilitate quick decisions.
Which of the following are part of money supply? Select the correct answer using the code given below. I. Cash and deposits of public money supply is money with the public either in cash form or in deposit form, demand and time both, with the bank and post offices. Securities like bonds and shares are tradable instruments and their prices fluctuate and hence are not part of money supply. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stub Bond, like, share this video.
तंत्र है किसानों की उत्पादन ऋण आवश्यकताओं को समय पर और परेशानी मुक्त तरीके से पूरा करना। ये योजना विशाल संस्थागत ऋण द्वारा पूरे देश में कार्यान्वित की जा रही है। वाणिज्यिक बैंकों, आरआरबी और सहकारी समितियों से जुड़े ढांचे और व्यापक रूप से प्राप्त हुए हैं। बैंकरों और किसानों के बीच स्वीकार्यता। किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड योजना का उद्देश्य किसानों से पर्याप्त और समय पर ऋण सहायता प्रदान करना है। किसानों को उनकी निम्नलिखित जरूरतों के लिए एकल खिड़की के तहत बैंकिंग प्रणाली, फसलों की खेती के लिए अल्पकालिक ऋण आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने के लिए फसल कटाई के बाद का खर्च, उत्पादन विपणन ऋण, किसान परिवार की खपत आवश्यकताओं, कृषि संपत्ति और कृषि से संबद्ध गतिविधियों के रखरखाव के लिए कार्यशील पूंजी जैसे डेयरी, पशु, अंतर्देशीय मत्स्य आदि। कृषि और संबद्ध गतिविधियों जैसे पंप सेट के लिए निवेश ऋण की आवश्यकता, स्प्रेयर, डेयरी, पशु आदि। निम्नलिखित लोग इस योजना के लिए पात्र हैं। सभी किसान, व्यक्तिगत। Which of the following statements will be considered as part of transfer payments in balance of payment? BOP is basically transactions of the residents of the country with the rest of the world. And transfer payments mean anything given for free. In the I statement, the transaction between Indian resident and non-resident Indian, NRI, is for free, without any work done or consideration. So, it is a case of transfer payment and will be recorded in BOP. In the E statement, the transaction is between Indian resident, who has gone abroad temporarily, and his family in India. Both are Indian residents, so, this transaction will not be recorded in BOP.
Investor is a person who invests in highly risky companies, typically before those companies have any revenue or profits. Angel investors are often among an entrepreneur's family, and investors provide more favorable terms compared to other lenders, since they usually invest in the entrepreneur starting the business rather than the viability of the business. Angel investors are focused on helping startups take their first steps, rather than the possible profit they may get from the business. Fundraising with angel investors is typically done more casually, using networking and crowdfunding platforms. Essentially, angel investors are the opposite of venture capitalists. Angel investors typically use their own money, unlike venture capitalists who take care of pooled money from many other investors and place them in a strategically managed fund. Angel investment in India is regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, under category I of alternative investment funds, AIF.
Crowd in the economy is related to which of the following? I. Targeted government spending acts as an engine of growth in the short run. E. Government spending complements the private investment. E. Government spending substitutes the private investment. IV. Government spending boosts demand for goods, which in turn increases private demand. Opposite of crowding out as crowding in, where private investment increases as debt financed government spending increases. If the economy is in slowdown phase or the demand in the economy is less, then an increased government spending boosts the demand for goods, which in turn increases the private sector demand for new output sources such as factories, equipment. Thus, the private sector crowds in to satisfy increasing consumer needs. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. Of Financial and Other Subsidies, Benefits and Services, Act 2016 is an act to provide for, as a good governance, efficient, transparent, and targeted delivery of subsidies, benefits and services, the expenditure for which is incurred from the Consolidated Fund of India or Consolidated Fund of States. States were allowed to transfer benefit through an amendment done 2019, to individuals residing in India, for more than 182 days, through assigning of unique identity numbers. As of Aadhaar Act, please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. The central government or, as the case may be, the state government may, for the purpose of establishing identity of an individual as a condition for receipt of a subsidy, benefit or service for which the expenditure is incurred from, or the receipt therefrom forms part of, the Consolidated Fund of India, require that such individual undergo authentication, or furnish proof of possession of Aadhaar number, or in the case of an individual. Which of the following statements are true regarding the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, LRS? Answer is D. In India,
any money you send overseas is subject to controls, as the government is wary of excessive outflows of foreign exchange draining its reserves and destabilizing the rupee. But there has been an effort to gradually liberalize these controls. The window that was opened up in 2004 for individuals to send money across the border, without seeking specific approvals, was called the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, LRS. Under LRS, all resident individuals, in India, can freely send $250,000 overseas every financial year for a permissible set of current or capital account transactions. Regarding Reserve Bank of India, RBI, It was set up on the basis of recommendations of the Hilton-Young Commission, It was set up as a shareholders' bank, but was nationalized in 1949. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Please subscribe my channel. RBI was set up on the basis of the recommendations of the Hilton-Young Commission. The Reserve Bank of India Act, 1934 provides the statutory basis of the functioning of the RBI, which commenced operations on April 1, 1935. RBI began its operations by taking over from the government the functions so far being performed by the Controller of Currency and from the Imperial Bank of India, the management of government accounts and public debt. Burma, Myanmar, seceded from the Indian Union in 1937, but the Reserve Bank continued to act as the central bank for Burma till Japanese occupation of Burma and later up to April 1947. After the
giving its surplus reserves to government may result in which of the following? Select the correct answer using the code given below. I. Increasing inflation in the economy. IV. Meeting the fiscal deficit target of the government till the time reserves are with RBI, it is not part of money supply. Surplus reserves to government which will ultimately spend this amount will result in this extra money reaching to public resulting in higher inflation. RBI paying dividend to government is a part of budgetary resources of Govt. Of India and it helps in reducing fiscal deficit. Please subscribe my channel. Exam Stub Born. Like, share this video.
Which of the following are characteristic situation for bank run? Answer is option C. A bank run is a situation that occurs when a large number of bank's customers withdraw their deposits simultaneously due to concerns about the bank's solvency. Solvency is the ability of a company to meet its long-term financial obligations, which is essential to staying in business. As more and more people withdraw their funds, the probability of default increases, thereby prompting more people to withdraw their deposits. In extreme cases, the bank's reserves may not be sufficient to cover the withdrawals. A bank run is typically the result of panic which can ultimately lead to default. In such a situation, the RBI stands by the commercial banks as a guarantor and extends loans to ensure the solvency of the banks. This function of RBI is also called lender of last resort. RBI comes to the rescue of a bank as a lender of last resort that is solvent, has not gone bankrupt, but faces temporary liquidity, funds problems. Please subscribe my channel.
Which of the following will be included in the balance of payments of India? Select the correct answer using the code given below. Sad face. I. Factor income of Indian residents from abroad. E. Gift received by a family in India from his NRI son. Those transactions which happen between Indian residents and foreigners or non-resident Indians, NRIs, are recorded in India's balance of payment. In the first statement, an Indian resident is earning income from abroad from a foreign entity, and in the second statement also, an Indian family is getting money free from an NRI. So, both will be recorded in India's balance of payments under current account. Consider the following statements. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Sad face. C. Both I and E. I. Non-performing assets of scheduled commercial banks is more than non-banking financial companies. E. Presently, capital adequacy ratio of scheduled commercial banks is around 15%. The gross non-performing advances ratio of scheduled commercial banks has remained unchanged at 9.3% between March and September 2019 and increased slightly for the non-banking financial corporations from 6.1% to 6.3%. Capital to risk-weighted asset ratio, capital adequacy ratio, of scheduled commercial banks increased from 14.3% to 15.1% between March 2019 and September 2019.
Swift is sometimes seen in. The news is related to A. It is used in space technology. B. It is used to securely transmit information and instructions by financial institutions. C. It is used for messaging in secret defense communication. D. It is used for faster transmission of data.
SWIFT stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. It is a messaging network used to securely transmit information and instructions through a standardized system of code. SWIFT code is an 8-digit or 11-digit code and is interchangeably also called bank.
Which of the following statements are true regarding the foreign currency? Non-resident FCNR accounts. I. Resident Indians and NRIs both can open. 2. Only foreign currency can be deposited. 3. Rupee can be deposited. 4. Can have both demand and time deposits.
Foreign currency non-resident FCNR account can be opened only by NRIs. Account can be maintained in any freely convertible foreign currency but only in the form of term fixed deposits. The interest and principal are non-taxable and freely repatriable. Please subscribe channel Exam Stubborn.
Which of the following could create a hindrance in achieving the objective of inflation targeting by RBI? When government deviates from the fiscal deficit target and spends more, it results in higher inflation. So even if RBI is trying to bring down the inflation, deviation in the fiscal deficit target will create issues in RBI achieving the inflation target. To target inflation, RBI changes the repo rate, which ultimately decreases the interest rate, resulting in change in money supply. Through change in money supply, RBI tries to achieve its inflation target. So, hindrances in monetary policy transmission may create issues in RBI achieving the inflation target. In case of supply-side challenges like drought, floods or governance issues, just reducing the money supply may not result in bringing down the prices of commodities. 12. Consider the following statements regarding the inverted duty structure in international trade. I. It makes domestic manufactured goods less competitive against finished product imports in the domestic market. E. Finished goods are taxed at higher rate than the raw materials. E. Raw materials are taxed at higher rate than the finished products. IV. This has reference to customs duty. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. When the import duty on raw materials is quite higher than the import duty on finished goods, then it makes the domestic manufacturers less competitive, because then traders start importing manufactured goods in the country rather than manufacturing the goods domestically. India levies the highest duties on import of raw rubber and one of the lowest duties on import of finished rubber goods, i.e. tire. This has created inward. The term, Bharat 22 inches, recently seen in the news is related to which of the following? It is an exchange-traded fund, ETF, launched by Government of India. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. Bharat 22 is an exchange-traded fund, ETF, comprising shares, mostly public sector companies. The ETF is well diversified with investments across 6 core sectors: basic materials, energy, finance, FMCG, industrial and utilities. Consider the following statements regarding strategic disinvestment. Of answer is Century PSUs. The term strategic disinvestment means the sale of substantial portion of the government shareholding of a central public sector enterprise, CPSE, of up to 50% or such higher percentage to the strategic partner, along with transfer of management control. It has to be kept in mind that even by selling less than 50% stake to the strategic partner, the government can transfer the management control to the strategic partner. It is legally possible. In strategic disinvestment, management control must be transferred to the private strategic partner. Strategic disinvestment is a way of privatization.
Which of the following statements are true regarding India's present exchange rate system? I. Rupee-dollar rate depends on market forces of demand and supply. E. RBI regulates the rupee-dollar rate. E. RBI intervenes in the forex market. IV. RBI regulates the forex market. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. The rate of rupee-dollar is determined in the forex market based on market forces of demand and supply. When rupee becomes highly volatile, then RBI intervenes in the forex market to contain the volatility. But RBI does not regulate or fix the rupee-dollar rate. This is called managed float or dirt float. RBI regulates the forex market, money market and GOFT securities market.
The term pump priming means select the correct answer using the code given below. It is a way to stimulate the economy by reducing tax. E. It is done in economic slowdown by increasing government spending. Pump priming is the action taken to stimulate an economy, usually during a recessionary period, through government spending and tax reductions. The term pump priming is derived from the operation of older pumps. A suction valve had to be primed with water so that the pump would function properly. BM Act 2003, Central Government shall endeavour to ensure that I. The general government debt shall not exceed 60% of GDP by 2024-25. E. The central government debt shall not exceed 40% of GDP by 2024-25. E. The central government shall not give additional guarantees on loan in excess of 0.5% of GDP in any financial year. Select the correct answer. D. The N.K. Singh Committee recommendations of central GOFT debt of 40% of GDP and general government, center and states combined, debt of 60% of GDP has been put under the FRBM Act 2003 by introducing an amendment through Finance Act 2018. The additional guarantee of 0.5% of GDP was there from the beginning of FRBM Act 2003. Basically, central government acts as guarantor.
Following statements are true regarding cash management. Bills are issued by central government and not by state governments. 2. It is used to fund fiscal deficit. 3. It can be used for temporary mismatches in the cash flow of the government. In 2010, Government of India, in consultation
with RBI, introduced a new short-term instrument known as cash management bills. It is not used to fund the fiscal deficit but is used to meet the temporary mismatches in the cash flow of the government of India. CM gave the generic character of bills but are issued for maturities less than 91 days.
FPI किसी व्यक्ति अथवा संस्था द्वारा किसी दूसरे देश की कंपनी में किया गया वो निवेश है, जिसके तहत वो संबंधित कंपनी के शेयर या बॉन्ड खरीदता है अथवा उसे ऋण उपलब्ध कराता है। FPI में निवेशक, प्रत्यक्ष विदेशी निवेश, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट FDI के विपरीत कंपनी के प्रबंधन, उत्पादन, विपणन आदि में प्रत्यक्ष रूप से शामिल नहीं होता है। FPI के तहत निवेशक शेयर के लाभांश या ऋण पर मिलने वाले ब्याज के रूप में लाभ प्राप्त करते हैं। FPI का विनियमन, भारतीय प्रतिभूति और विनिमय बोर्ड, सिक्योरिटीज एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया सेबी द्वारा किया जाता है। राइट्स इश्यू किसी कंपनी द्वारा पूंजी जुटाने का वह माध्यम है जिसके तहत वह अपने मौजूदा शेयर धारकों को कंपनी में अतिरिक्त शेयर खरीदने का अधिकार प्रदान करती है। सामान्यतः राइट्स इश्यू एक शेयर धारक को कंपनी में उसके मौजूदा शेयर के अनुपात में और बाजार की तुलना में कम मूल्य
Select the correct answer using the code given below. In case of forex swap, RBI may give rupees to banks and can take dollars, which leads to increase in rupee liquidity in the economy, resulting in inflation. Of course, forex swaps can also be used to take out the excess liquidity in the economy, RBI giving dollars to banks and taking rupee. Increase in foreign capital inflow leads to increase in money supply leading to inflation. General elections lead to higher spending level by government increasing inflation.
Statements regarding purchasing power parity, PPP, exchange rates, I. If two countries have zero rate of inflation, their PPP exchange rates will be constant, E. The prices of goods will be same in both the countries when converted at PPP exchange rate. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Please subscribe my channel Exam Stubborn and like this video. Suppose nominal exchange rate is $1 equals 60 rupees and India and US produces just burgers. The price 30 rupees $1 to calculate PPP exchange rate, we need to compare the prices of a basket of goods in India with US. In the above case, by comparing the prices of burger in India and US, we will get $1 equals 30 rupees. So, $1 equals 30 rupees is the PPP exchange rate. It implies that, whatever 30 rupees can purchase in India, $1 can purchase in US, i.e. purchasing power of 30 rupees in India is equal to purchasing power of 1. If a country has pegged, fixed but adjustable exchange rate, then consider the following statements. I. Inflation in the country may make its exports less competitive. E. If the country devalues its currency in proportion to the inflation, then its exports may remain competitive. Pegged exchange rate means a country fixes its exchange rate with another country currency or a basket of currencies and when required changes it accordingly. Suppose nominal exchange rate is $1 equals 60 rupees. Nominal exchange rate means how many hours can be purchased in $1. For example, suppose India-US burger price 30 rupees $1. In this case, US will import the burgers from India, as in $1 they will get 60 rupees and in 60 rupees they will get 2 burgers from India. So, India will export burgers to US. But if due to inflation the burger price in India becomes 60 rupees, then exports from India will stop. So, inflation in the country make exports less A new organizational structure, Board of Management, was proposed for the urban cooperative banks by which committee? A. Amalgam Committee. In normal companies, banks, Board of Directors, Board, are independent and representatives of shareholders, owners, but not exactly the shareholders. But in cooperative banks, the Board of Directors are selected from among the shareholders themselves. Because of this, professionalism is missing from the cooperative banks and there were several cases of frauds discovered. To bring improvement in the governance and functioning of urban cooperative banks, UCBs, a new organization structure consisting of a Board of Management, BOM, in addition to the Board of Directors, Board, was suggested by the Amalgam Committee, 2011. As changing the selection, appointment process of board required changes in Cooperative Societies Act. Consider the following statements regarding additional Tier 1 bonds. Answer is D. Additional Tier 1 bonds. At 1, bonds have several unusual features lurking in their fine print, which make them very different from normal bonds. 1. These bonds are perpetual and carry no maturity date. Instead, they carry call options that allow banks to redeem them after 5 or 10 years. But banks are not obliged to use this call, redeem, option and can opt to pay only interest on these bonds for eternity. 2. Banks issuing at 1 bonds can skip interest payments for a particular year or even reduce the bond's face value without getting into hot water with their investors, provided their capital ratios fall below certain threshold levels. These thresholds are specified in their offer terms. 3. If the RBI feels that a bank is tottering on the brink, called point of non-viability, and needs a rescue, it can simply ask the bank to cancel its outstanding at one bonds without consulting.
निम्नलिखित में से कौन सा परिदृश्य स्थायी आर्थिक विकास समर्थन कर सकते हैं? अपस्फीति आर्थिक विकास के लिए हानिकारक है, क्योंकि जब कीमतें घटने लगती हैं तो लोग अपने खरीद निर्णयों को स्थगित कर देते हैं और कंपनियां अपने निवेश निर्णयों को स्थगित कर देती हैं। इससे अर्थव्यवस्था में मांग में कमी आती है जो आर्थिक विकास को नुकसान पहुंचाती है। निम्न और मध्यम मुद्रास्फीति आर्थिक विकास के लिए अच्छी होती है क्योंकि ये देश में मांग पैदा करती है अर्थव्यवस्था और लोग भी बैंकों में पैसा बचाने के लिए तैयार हैं जो अंततः बढ़ता है निवेश। गैलोपिंग या हाइपर इन्फ्लेशन लोगों की बचत को खा जाता है क्योंकि वे बहुत अधिक खर्च करते हैं वस्तुओं और सेवाओं को खरीदने में पैसा जो अंततः निवेश को कम करता है। बैंक भी ऐसे मामलों में उच्च ब्याज दर मुद्रास्फीति से अधिक की पेशकश नहीं करते हैं और लोग करते हैं बैंकों में पैसा न रखें क्योंकि उन्हें कोई वास्तविक रिटर्न नहीं मिलता है। अतः केवल कथन सत्य है।
निम्नलिखित में से कौन सी स्थिति हो सकती है एक देश के मूल्यह्रास के लिए नेतृत्व दूसरे के संबंध में मुद्रा देश? ए. विदेशी निवेश प्रवाह, बी. ब्याज दर में वृद्धि, सी. निर्यात में वृद्धि, डी. उपर्युक्त में से कोई नहीं। प्लीज सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एग्जाम स्टबन एंड लाइक दिस वीडियो। विदेशी निवेशक जब भारत आते हैं तो डॉलर लेकर आते हैं और इस डॉलर को वे फॉरेक्स में बेचते हैं। बाजार और मांग रुपये जिसके परिणामस्वरूप रुपये और रुपये की मांग में वृद्धि होती है सराहना करता है। जब निर्यात बढ़ता है तो हम विदेशी बाजार से अधिक डॉलर कमाते हैं और ये डॉलर हम रुपये खरीदने के लिए विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में बेचना जिसके परिणामस्वरूप रुपये की मांग में वृद्धि होती है और रुपये की सराहना करता है। जब भारत में ब्याज दर बढ़ती है तो अधिक विदेशी निवेशक भारत में निवेश करने आते हैं निश्चित ब्याज दर उपकरणों में जिसके परिणामस्वरूप रुपये की सराहना होती है। इसलिए कोई भी कथन सत्य नहीं है।